Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Justice Surya Kant, Shri Arjun Meghwal ji, Honorable Law Minister of India, Tushar Mehta ji, Solicitor General of India, Rahul Kaushik, Pragya, Judges and Chief Justices of Kenya, Bhutan, Mauritius, Sri Lanka, Nepal and Malaysia, Judges of the Supreme Court, lawyers of the Supreme Court and friends. Law Day was celebrated for the first time on the 30th year of the coming into effect of the Constitution, that is on the 26th of November 1979, by our President, then President Dr. L.M. Singhvi, with the full active support of Justice Chandrachud, the then Chief Justice of India, Justice Bhagwati and Justice Krishna Iyer. In that year it was envisaged that the government also will start doing something like this very soon. In fact, the speech of Dr. Singhvi says that we were trying to do it this year only, but the Law Minister had assured him that very soon the government also will start doing this exercise of celebrating Law Day. It used to be called Law Day then. I must compliment the present government because it is only after 36 years that this celebration was started by the government also in the year 2015 on the 125th birth anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and since then this function is being celebrated with in two phases, one by the Bar Association, the other by the government. Law Day for a lawyer and a judge is every day. Every day is a law day. But what is special for Law Day, the day on which we adopted our Constitution? According to me, it's an introspection day. It's a day to introspect that the framers of our Constitution, what they had provided for the people of this country as a people's document, whether it has subserved its purpose or not, and if there are any shortcomings, if there are any creases to be ironed, then we need to introspect and try and work on them. The important role of law in society is emphasized on this Law Day, and law can be meaningful and accessible to all only if three factors of the legal system are taken care of. One is lawmaking, the other is justice delivery, and third is access to every common man of this country, the system of justice delivery. When the Constituent Assembly was constituted, or even when the Constituent Assembly ultimately gave this very masterpiece document, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had repented that he repents that he could not provide for any qualification for legislatures. But then he justifies it by saying that during the British time, when one leader used to be arrested, the society used to throw up another important, equally credible leader, and so he felt that our society in India will also ensure that the right people get elected to the parliament, and accordingly there is no need for any qualification. Now that is something which unfortunately has not happened. That dream of Dr. Ambedkar has not come up. The way black money is coming in election, people with criminal backgrounds are coming in, the kind of people of merit of steel, integrity, caliber, who used to be there in our first and second parliament are not there anymore. It is for everyone to see the kind of people that have come in. We don't expect them to be able to debate with the same amount of intellect the making of laws, and that is an area which definitely we must introspect and see what best can be done to ensure that the right people get elected to parliament. The second system is justice delivery. In justice delivery, the first aspect, of course, is the quality of judges, and there I will beseech the Honorable Law Minister and the Honorable Chief Justice of India and the other collegium judges that this memorandum of procedure is hanging fire since 2016, and the memorandum of procedure is basically meant to ensure that the collegium system has more accountability. And I would only request that if the memorandum of procedure can be finalized at the earliest, this will definitely ensure that the quality of judges coming to the higher courts are definitely improved and there is credibility in the process. I feel that the collegium system is the best system for appointment of judges, but they have to be accountable. And that can only be brought in either by a law made by Parliament to regulate the collegium system or by the memorandum of procedure. The second important aspect of justice delivery is infrastructure. Infrastructure in especially the lower courts is appalling. I know of cases of some district courts in Bihar where the courtroom didn't have paper, so a litigant had to get his own paper. There is no typist, there is nobody to dictate judgments. So that is an area which I feel the government needs to really work on, and I will beseech the law minister to look into this aspect, because the kind of complaints that are coming with regard to the infrastructure is something which cannot be accepted in this day today, and we are not fulfilling the dream of our people if we are not giving proper infrastructure for our judges. And third is, of course, training. If the judges are not regularly trained, the kind of new subjects that are coming up daily before us, the challenges of dealing with new jurisdiction. I know several judges of Supreme Court and Chief Justices have also told me that while they were in the High Court, they had not dealt with many subjects which they happened to deal with in the Supreme Court. And so accordingly, continuous training of judges, both at the district level and at the High Court level, and even if there is no harm, if there are methods of including the Supreme Court judges, in fact, they can also train the High Court judges and the lower judiciary. That exercise is going on, but that can be done more regularly. There are institutions where trainings, Bhopal is there, every state has an institution, but I feel it's not being done properly. It can be done with more vigor. The last is, of course, reaching the common man. The legal aid. Every person should get justice, should be able to get access to justice. Legal aid should be again strengthened, and again I beseech the law minister. The Supreme Court has a very functional NALSA, and we are trying to reach right to the last mile. But it's a huge country. The requirement of infrastructure to reach the legal aid to the common man is a challenge, and we should accept that challenge and work towards it. The last, and of course, that is for the Supreme Court, and that is the infrastructure for the Supreme Court. I have been saying this for quite some time, that when the Kartavya Path was being designed, there should have been an area for the Judiciary Supreme Court as well. But having not done that, at least this area across the Bhagwan Das Road, this whole of this should be declared a part of the Supreme Court campus, so that a lot of facilities can be created for the members of the bar, for litigants, and for the institution, which will help this institution to grow and do better the job that it has been doing for so many years with so much amount of, I would say, rectitude. The lawyers have a huge problem. Even Dr. Singhvi in his first speech has noted that there is no social security for lawyers, there is no medical facility for lawyers. If a lawyer falls sick overnight, there is nobody to take care of him. And that is one need of the hour which actually needs to be addressed, of providing social security, lawyer, getting them medical facility. At least the regular practitioners of the Supreme Court can be given the CGHS benefit, because we have had so many mishaps in the Supreme Court where lawyers have died only because of not getting timely medical help. And of course, my last demand always has been to elevate this. If there is a memorandum of procedure, I am sure the memorandum of procedure can provide for a system of inviting for applications, and Supreme Court lawyers are not being considered for elevation on a regular basis. The Honorable Chief Justice of India has given his, he is very much keen to start this process, but doing at his level without a process being in place will not reach the all the eligible members to be elevated. And I think there is some need of the hour to have a system where on a regular basis somebody is assessing the merit of Supreme Court lawyers and comparing them with the merit of the lawyers in the High Court and getting the best people elevated. So with these words, I want everybody here present today to introspect as to how far we have achieved the goal of Dr. Ambedkar in providing a society which law reaches to everyone and the justice delivery system is adequate to meet the needs of the country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Arjun Meghwal, Honorable Union Minister of State for Law and Justice, to kindly deliver his address.
My distinguished colleague, my brother Judiciary from the Supreme Court of India, Shri Arjun Meghwal ji, Honorable Union Minister of State for Law and Justice, very distinguished Chief Justices and Judges from our neighboring countries, representing the jurisdictions of Nepal, Bhutan, Malaysia, Kenya, Sri Lanka and Mauritius, Shri Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General of India, my sister Justice Indu Malhotra, former Judge of the Supreme Court of India, Mr. Vikas Singh, Senior Advocate and President of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Mr. Rahul Kaushik, Senior Advocate and Vice President of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Pragya Bhaghel, Secretary of the Supreme Court Bar Association, members of the Executive Committee of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Mr. Nikhil Vipin Nair, President of the SCORA, Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association, Mr. Amit Sharma, Vice President, and Mr. Nikhil Jain, Secretary of the Association, Senior Advocates and members of the Supreme Court Bar, Secretary General, Registrars and other officers of on the establishment of the Supreme Court. We also have among us the registrars and some senior officers of the visiting nations who are also present on this occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from media, a very good morning to all of you. It is a genuine pleasure to be here today, and what makes it especially meaningful is that this is my first public address, as pointed out by Honorable Law Minister and Mr. Tushar Mehta both, since having taken oath as Chief Justice of India. Truth be told, I could not have imagined a more fitting and exhilarating occasion than the Constitution Day for this milestone, a day when we celebrate the pivotal moment when the people of India gifted unto themselves its most fundamental covenant. As I stand before you today, I must emphasize that the bar occupies an indispensable place in fortifying the rule of law and upholding the sanctity of our Constitution. Today, since I will be speaking in the afternoon event being organized by the Supreme Court, I thought that in the morning session I will confine myself to the role and the contribution made by the Supreme Court and other bar associations and our distinguished members of the bar from time to time. And in that context, I do not hesitate in saying that if the courts are regarded as the sentinel of the Constitution, then the members of the bar are the torch bearers who illuminate our path as we discharge the solemn duty with clarity and conviction. When we are called upon to pronounce on the constitutionality of a provision or to expand the ambit of another, it is the range of perspectives, the depth of readings, and the wealth of precedent that bar brings before us to marshal our understanding. Your scholarship allows us to approach each question with a more holistic vision, forming the very bedrock which constitutional jurisprudence steadily evolves. I believe that in this context, the Supreme Court Bar Association's own website offers a particular fitting line, one that I am certain you all have come across, but just to refresh your memory, I am quoting what your website says. It says, and I quote, "From its very inception, the Supreme Court Bar Association has been the vanguard of the movement for upholding, maintaining and consolidation of the constitutional values of democracy, rule of law and the independence of the judiciary." Undoubtedly, across the many decades since the Constitution's inception, the judiciary has repeatedly acknowledged the indubitable role of the bar in safeguarding its virtues. One needs only to recall the evolution of the basic structure doctrine, shaped in no small measures by the erudition of Nani Palkiwala, a senior advocate and eminent jurist of this country, whose advocacy left an indelible imprint on constitutional adjudication. Legal behemoths such as M.C. Sittleward, with arguments of remarkable lucidity and salubrious depth, contributed to judicial transformation in the ways that continue to resonate. Even Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, K.M. Munshi, Aladi Krishna Swami Iyer, the principal architects of our Constitution, stood at one time as members of the bar. Our legal history is replete with such stalwarts, advocates whose intellect, integrity and persuasion have guided the trajectory of our constitutional jurisprudence and indeed the direction of the nation itself. Of course, our work and yours is far from complete, and we must all continue the journey begun decades ago. The bar in particular must shoulder an even deeper sense of responsibility. Constitutional adjudication cannot be seen merely through the lens of adversarial litigation, for its implications extend far beyond individual disputes. They shape the course of the nation itself. When I often speak about the invisible victims of the judicial system, it is my sincere belief that only bar can rescue them from such agony. Your perspectives matter profoundly, and the seriousness with which you engage in your craft directly influences the transmogrification of our constitutional future. In addition to assisting us in constitutional matters, it is equally vital that the bar collectively takes purposeful strides towards espousing the letter and spirit of our fundamental document. This includes providing legal aid to those who are vulnerable or living at the margins of the society, as well as aligning on oneself with the vision embodied in the directive principles of the state policy. Such commitments matter because when members of the legal fraternity undertake these obligations, they create a ripple effect, fostering genuine change within their communities and reinforcing constitutional value in everyday life. As individuals with a deeper understanding of the Constitution's true import, you are uniquely positioned to serve as model citizens, both personally and professionally, embodying the very ideals our founding document seeks to instill. I would especially urge the younger advocates among us to take up this mantle. Each of you is immensely capable, brimming with potential, and acutely aware of the duties that accompany this profession. As I draw my address to close, I wish to impress upon all of you that the Constitution entrusts its guardianship not to one institution alone, but to a consortium of minds and consensus, and in that consortium, the bar and the bench stand as indispensable partners. We interpret, you illuminate. We pronounce, you provoke thought. We guard the ramparts, and you fortify the foundations. Together, we sustain the living promise of our republic. On this Constitution Day, may we renew this shared commitment with humility and resolve to uphold the Constitution not only through our judgments and arguments, but through the integrity we embody, the empathy we cultivate, and the consensus we carry forward. Let us continue side by side to ensure that the Constitution is not merely preserved, but continuously uplifted, enriched, and ennobled in the service of our people. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting and giving this opportunity to me to share my views. Thank you, Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. It is a long-standing tradition of SCB to honor members of the bar who have completed 50 years of practice at the bar. May I request the dignitaries to please come in front of the stage to present the certificates. Now may I request the Honorable Chief Justice of India to kindly present shawl and certificate to members as a token of respect. May I now call Mr. Kailash Vasudev, Senior Advocate. May I now request Mr. Rajiv Datta, Senior Advocate, to come forward.